Truth is, you don't get promoted by just waiting your turn. You get promoted by making yourself the obvious choice for AE. What I've seen is most SDRs think that hitting quota is enough to land the AE role, but it's not. Managers aren't just looking for activity, they're looking for consistency, leverage, and proof that you're already doing part of the AE job. Without a clear roadmap, you'll get stuck in limbo, watching others jump ahead of you. And I've actually chatted with dozens of AEs who promoted from SDR to AE in under 18 months, and they all had the same four things in common. They set the pace early and built internal leverage. They networked with AE managers and implemented feedback. They stayed consistent and took on AE level responsibilities. And lastly, they crushed the promotion interview with proof that they were already doing the job, which is exactly why I built the Promote Me Playbook. It is a complete roadmap that covers your entire time as an SDR from day one all the way through closing your internal AE interview. It shows you how to build your brand, get managers in your corner, own AE tasks before you have the title, and ultimately make your promotion timeline predictable instead of wishful. So let's get into it. And just in case you're wondering why you should trust this document, I built this out based on my own experience, where I was actually a top 5% rep at two separate SaaS companies. And like I said, it's based on the experience of dozens of other AEs who have promoted to AE in under 18 months. So, step one, setting the pace. This is honestly your chance to blow everybody away. You build internal leverage early, and as you are probably aware, first impressions matter a lot because people gossip all the time in the workplace, and not just gossip, but they just are chatting with each other all the time. And so you really want to be the top of every leaderboard and leave no doubt as to the fact that you're a hard worker and a top performer. And so my philosophy has always been, if you work harder than everybody else and you work smarter than everybody else, there's no way you won't be at the top every time. Okay, so this is your checklist for months 1 through 6. So you want to meet with the top reps to learn their tricks. And one thing to note here is you don't want to look at just like what they're doing, but understand why they're having success. And part of this is because many people are actually successful, but they don't know why they're successful. And so they may even say that the reason that they're at the top is because they have the perfect tone on cold calls, when in reality, the reason that they're at the top is because they make twice as many calls as everybody else. So don't just take what people say at face value. Make sure you understand the why what they're doing is making them successful, and try to speak with many top performers so that you can kind of create a framework of what actually leads to success. And then, of course, you have to make it your own, find your own voice, etc. Okay. Next thing is, and maybe you're going to think I'm crazy for this, but you want to double your all your KPIs. So if your goal is to make 30 calls every day, I would try to make at least 60. And that goes for all KPIs. Of course, if your goal is to make 200 cold calls, you're not going to be able to do 400. But if you're at an org where there's 200, honestly, probably better to find a new org. Anyways, you'll get wins sooner. You'll build confidence. Oh, as far as terms of like why it's good to work hard, there's 3 major benefits that I found. You really get wins sooner, and you build confidence quickly. So the more work you do faster, the more you'll get wins. Don't wait to get wins. You want to like get those dopamine hits ASAP. And you'll also make mistakes faster because we always make mistakes. The top performing people, they're not top performers because they made less mistakes. They just recovered from the mistakes faster, and iterated. So, but by making mistakes faster, you learn what works faster. And this is the most straightforward way to build your brand. I can't say more than that, other than if you like, hard work is a universal language for basically like promote me, right? Everybody wants a hard worker. Can you think of a single manager who wants a lazy person on their team? I cannot. And as far as like, if you want to know exactly like the types of emails and calls and how to write LinkedIn messages, based on my experience and based on the experience of honestly millions of other reps, because I stole data from Gong and I didn't steal it, but I credit them. But from Gong and President's Club, etc. Look at the Skool Classroom tab. There's other videos and PDFs I have on like LinkedIn 101, emailing 101, calling 101. Next thing to do, make sure you come prepared to all your one-on-ones with your manager. I always like to have wins to show them that like to show them that you're putting in the work and like give them a chance to celebrate you and see that you're getting stuff done. And also come to them with the challenges you're having. I misspelled competence, so I'll fix that. Sharing challenges demonstrates humility as well. So SDR managers love hardworking reps, but they also love to help you and also is an ego boost for them. So give them things that they can help you with. Another thing is actually be active on Slack. You want to be sharing your wins and you also want to be celebrating other people. Uh, Again, this demonstrates humility and leadership qualities. You don't want to be come across as sharky and share what's working for you because if you have found something that works and you lift other people up, uh, that will just get noticed and like it'll actually if other people start doing well, like it'll motivate you to keep iterating, keep helping other people, and it's actually addicting to be helpful to people, even though it can be tempting to just be selfish. Okay, send. This is something I did and not a lot of people do, is send weekly emails and tag everyone that matters. So I would wait until you're winning before you do this because you don't want to be drawing attention to mediocrity. But if you're actually grinding away, there's no way you're not crushing it from everything that I've seen and everyone I've talked to. And so how this works is on Friday afternoons, look at the past week, Monday through Friday, look at all the wins you've had, and then send an email tagging your manager, your manager's manager, your AE's manager, etc. And then also include your PG focus for the next week. Uh, you're putting in the work, might as well just show other people how you're doing it. And it's a way that's kind of humble because you're really just like recapping and then sharing what you're doing for the next week. You're not just saying like, I'm so awesome, right? It's just like an update. It's phrased as an update call, but it's really a way to, build your brand. And I think this is one of the primary things that I did that like set me up for my first 6 months that really like helped me build my brand, and everyone in my ecosystem in terms of management saw this stuff, and it was really just a wonderful way to stand out. And then, yeah, should be obvious, but shadow your AE calls. You want to understand how your AEs handle things, and ideally, you want to prioritize the AEs that are killing it and that you look up to and respect and want to be like one day. And then another thing, underrated, maybe it's not underrated. A lot of people say to do it, but screenshot the Slacks, the emails, whatever, of praises and awards you're getting, because this will help you with both internal and honestly, if there's no internal promotion, external interviews as well. So having a screenshot of other people saying good things about you, one of the best ways to demonstrate that you're uh, a top performer. And I have one of these folders, and it has gone a long way. I'll just leave it at that. Step 2. Tip, of course, these timelines can be like a little blurry, but I just like to have distinct numbers. So around month 6 to 9, you should have a pretty strong internal brand by now. If you don't, then go back to here and restart and do all these things. And then, yeah, it's time to start positioning yourself for an AE role. So of course, depending on the timeline of your company, you won't be able to do this for a while, but you want to like, once you prove yourself as an asset to the company you're a part of, this is where I think it makes sense to start positioning yourself. I think it's weird if you're reaching out to AE managers at 3 months, by the way, when you're like still learning like how to use Salesforce. It just can come off across, in my opinion, as too thirsty. I wouldn't. This is why I say wait usually until month 6. Okay, now you've refined a lot of your skills by this point, and you can start automating more with AI. I'm recording this in August of 2025. By the time you watch this, maybe it'll be a few months later or even 2026. I don't know. But things are changing quickly with AI. So who knows like what kind of tools are going to be out. But I think we can all say like we want to free up our time to work on the other tasks below, which we'll get into. And that's another reason to join this community is like it's not just me. There's tons of other SDRs and even AEs in this community. So If you have a question of how to like how you should leverage AI, post in the community discussion board, telling people like the problem you're facing or like your questions around how to leverage AI to free up time, and people will be happy to answer. Okay, next thing, you want to network with AE managers. I recommend only doing this once you're a proven asset to the SDR org, as mentioned above. And if there's multiple AE managers, you should reach out to all of them, right? This is basically internal multi-threading. The way I recommend doing this, send them a Slack or talk to them in person and tell them you'd like to grab time on their calendar and be specific. They know why you're reaching out to them. You're not just there to like waste their time. You, it's good to be clear and blunt, and there's not enough of just like honesty in our day and age. So they know why you're reaching out to them. You're there to learn more about the AE role and look at what they're looking for in future candidates, right? That's how you phrase the discussion. It's honest. You wear your heart on your sleeve. Then you need to make sure you come prepared to the call with genuine curiosity. Pay close attention to what they're looking for in candidates. Clarify if you don't understand what they're saying, and then write down, maybe not in front of them. You can, but it looks kind of like weird. Just don't write in front of them. But after that conversation, write down exactly what they're looking for, and that way that can be your like your vision for like your focus for the next 3 months. Okay. Then by the end of the call, or like before you go, try to set up a recurring monthly call or quarterly call, whatever you feel like is a good cadence. Um, I recommend a month. Less than a month seems like it's like not enough time to demonstrate that you're actually implementing things, and more than a month is probably just not enough like face time with them. So that's why I recommend a month. Of course, you can adjust this to whatever you feel comfortable with. Um, if they don't agree, then that's kind of stupid on their end. Um, or, or you just clearly are not someone that they want to have. And so, yeah, if it's the former, nothing you can do about it. If it's the latter, then uh, they may not tell you up front, but just like I don't know, use your discernment and try to have some humility to figure out like why they're not wanting to meet with you again. Uh, but yeah, do some honest self-reflection. It might just be that they're like a bad manager, and then in that case, it's like it's a win-win. Maybe not a win-win, but it's a win for you. Okay, bonus tip. Um, yeah, if the hiring manager is helpful and seems like you, oh yeah, make sure to ask them with help for account strategy and messaging. So like if you're having a problem and maybe your SDR manager has helped you, but you want to like, boost the ego of the AE manager and ask them for tips, ask them. People love being helpful as long as it's like small tasks. So people love giving advice and love being seen as the expert, which is kind of why I like doing the SDR Accelerator program, not gonna lie. Anyways, okay. Work with your favorite AEs. This is important. This is actually probably the most important. Implement the feedback that you get, right? So hopefully you wrote down in your little journal, your cute little journal, all the things that the AE manager asked you to do. Sorry, yes, that the AE manager asked you to do, and now it's your job to actually do it. If they say, hey, you need to like run more discovery calls, you're like, yeah, sounds good. And then you meet with them a month later and you haven't run a single discovery call. Like, how do you think that's going to look? Okay. Keep your SDR manager and AEs in the loop for everything. You will likely need buy-in from both parties to be successful. You never want your SDR manager to feel like you're going behind their backs. So I recommend keeping them updated. Your SDR manager will advocate for you internally and also help you develop AE ready skills if they're half decent at their job. If they're not half decent at their job, I'm sorry. Welcome to the world. You will have bad managers, but do your best to keep them in the loop. And then also you'll need buy-in from your AEs to let you own more of the AE role. So whether that's territory planning, running discovery calls, blah, 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 blah. Again, if the AE trusts you, it should be an easy ask. If they don't trust you yet, then find a way to show them that you're capable. And then ask again. Or find a different AE. And if you're just like, man, my AEs just won't let me do anything, well, you're probably not very good yet at demonstrating that you can actually take on the job. So if you're confused at how to do this, ask yourself, why does my AE not trust me? And then like if it's not about if it's they don't trust you running discovery calls, then run discovery calls in secret. Don't tell them about it. They might see it on your calendar. Take a recording, work with your AE managers, or you can do mock discovery calls. Maybe, yeah. Actually, I'm not going to tell you not to do things in secret. I take that back. But like, just figure out a way to show them an example of how you can run a discovery call effectively, and then send it to them and be like, "What do you think of this? What would you change before you let me run discovery calls?" Right? Most people aren't willing to put in the work to build trust, but I mean, do you want to be an SDR forever? I don't know. Okay, step 3, don't lose steam. Months 9 through 12. Um, yeah, if you've done everything so far, honestly, I can say this from experience because I was top 5% SDR at both SaaS companies, and I didn't even do all these things perfectly. Uh, I wish I did, but um, the networking side was one of my weaknesses. But the reason I can tell you these things is because I've interviewed lots of in my SDR Accelerator podcast. I've interviewed lots of SDRs who became um, AEs under 18 months, and these are tips that they gave me as well. So I did some networking, but not as much as I could have. So, anyways, I'm rambling. You will be one of the best performers out there. Okay. You'll have an incredible brand. You'll be top of mind for AE managers as soon as spots open up, and it's just a waiting game. Okay. So don't lose steam. This is where you can get burnout. You can get impatient, yada yada yada. So keep refining your processes. Keep asking yourself, how can I use AI to automate the repetitive work? Spend some time every week just thinking about your work, working on your work. It's important. A lot of people, you feel that quota pressure, and so you're always heads down, always grinding. And so it's like, but sometimes it really is true. You have to slow down to speed up. So you can even just set an hour aside per week, block it on your calendar of like, how can I optimize my processes and make things better every week? You'll actually find that things will come up that you realize, oh, I'm spending too much time doing this or that, and oh, I could use AI to implement this. Okay. One of the biggest temptations you feel at this point is just to slack off or lose steam. The job can get a bit boring now that you're actually good at it. You might feel tired after all the grinding you've been doing, but it's honestly now one of the worst times to show a drop in performance, right? You don't want to be the rep that starts hard, that starts strong, and then finishes weak, right? So one of the ways you can fight this temptation is surround yourself with high performers that push you. So self plug, join the SDR Accelerator School community. It's free to join. Uh, and just by the nature of the community, high performers are going to join because it's people who are interested on improving their own skill set. And so if you're part of this SDR Accelerator School community, you see the value in investing in your own development. And so you can be high performers. When you're around other high performers, guess what? You become a high performer. There's a reason all the books and gurus and successful entrepreneurs all say like, who you surround yourself with is who you become. It's just human nature. Okay. If you're around potheads all the day, if you're around potheads all day long, good chance you'll be a pothead. If you're around top performing SDRs all day, you'll probably be a top performing SDR. It's simple. Okay. Own more of the sales process as you continue to grow your AE skill set from step 2, yada yada yada. Yeah, I mean, same stuff I've been saying. Do more and more AE tasks so that by the time it comes to interview, it's like, hey, I'm basically already an AE with an SDR title. Okay. Waiting for a spot to open. This is the most frustrating part, hands down. You always hear control what you can get control, and by nature of being in sales, you're probably someone who likes to control things, right? Uh, you want to work harder and get paid more. So this goes against every fiber of your being as an SDR. But you can't create headcount. And so just to that, I'll say complaining doesn't get you anywhere, and it's a chance to learn patience. And I really do believe that patience is underrated in our day and age. And nobody's patient for anything. The iPhone, we need the newest iPhone. We need Amazon here, same day delivery, yada yada yada. But patience is it's a good trait, and honestly, it's a good thing to learn. So it's good to remember that you can't control everything in your life, even though you'd like to think so. Welcome to getting older. Okay, close the deal. It's time to interview sometime after 12 months, probably. Sometimes you'll get it under 12 months, so good for you. Your goal should be to blow your interviews away. make them afraid of losing you to another company. There's almost always some sort of behavioral and skills component. And so the best way to reduce anxiety is honestly to run stimulated practice sessions as much as you can. You'll still be nervous day of, but practicing is is honestly the best way out of anxiety and confidence. So checklist, okay, behavioral portion, skills demonstration, and follow-up email. Actually, in my classroom tab, I literally have a like AE interview. I forget what it's called. I think it's just like an AE interview prep guide, steer to AE interview prep guide. And I have examples. I have a template for the behavioral portion. I have one for the skills demonstration portion for specifically like how to run discovery calls. And then I have one for like how to do account research plan. And the the account research plan is actually it's just a copy of something I used for one of my to land my AE role. And not to brag, but I'm gonna brag and say that they were blown away by my AE research plan and were super impressed by it and was basically told that I had one of the best account research plans out there. So feel free to look at it and see like what I did, and I even included I included my notes to my Google deck, my slide deck to show kind of like how I went through everything. And then okay, for behavioral portion, I'd say find 6 to 8 success stories and then just practice those using the STAR method. If you don't know what that is, Google it. Quantify where you can. Practice 10 times more than your peers. I have a promo guarantee inside my Skool community where it costs money, but I will help you. It's my promotional guarantee. If you're curious to learn more, shoot me a message inside the Skool community and happy to discuss more about that. Okay. Excuse me. Allergies are bad. What to avoid? Don't ramble. Don't blame others for your problems. And don't share stories that don't have detail, right? The more detail you have to your stories, the more believable they are. And I always say tell the truth. Like, if you don't actually, like, just don't lie. It just always comes back to bite you. And even if it doesn't come back to bite you in the short term, I promise, lying will always come back to bite you in the long term. Okay, skills demonstration. I mentioned this already, but for account planning, you'll just need to do lots of research of the pains of your account and of the account that you're focused on. And that AI does help a lot with this. Understanding your company's relevant proof points and come with a strong point of view. And then, like I said, run through this 10 times. I found that's just kind of like the number that I found of like you get really bored doing it, but you feel really confident when you run through something 10 times. A lot of a lot of people, I don't know, yeah, I'll out them. A lot of people I interviewed with in my cohort in MongoDB honestly didn't practice very much, and I'll just say it showed. Okay. And then for the mock discovery calls, I actually have a discovery deep dive template. You can find that in the Skool Classroom tab. So take a look there. I have a link to it here. But really, it's comes down to curiosity and active listening. Understand their pain, understand the consequences of their pain, understand where they're trying to go, understand what they need to get, what they need in order to get from point A to point B. Command of the message training. It's all in my discovery deep dive template. Warning, it is a long template, but it will prepare you well. And then share how your products map to the required capabilities, right? And so, like I said, you get the Discovery Deep Dive. You can grab that in the Skool Classroom tab. I don't know what else to say, but it's really quality. It's really good. I spent a lot of time on it, and I use analogies to help break things down. Okay. And then there's that magic number 10. Run through these mock calls at least 10 times with a friend or peer. Yeah. And then I did this, and a lot of people don't. You don't have to, but it's just a good look. Thank everyone for the chance to interview at the end. Make sure you do that. Okay. Thank you for your attention on this matter. It should be noted that every situation is nuanced. As always, there are layers of complexity, blah, 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 blah. Book a clarity call with me if you haven't yet done so. And if you haven't even gotten to meet with me yet inside the SDR Accelerator Skool community, make sure you book the onboarding call, which should be that first. You should see that in the first pinned comment as soon as you join the SDR Accelerator Skool community. Okay. And there's a link to join. Thank you for your time. We'll see you on the next one.